I put $100 into each of the weekly pay dividend ETFs to track their progress so you don't have to. What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Spencer, and I talk about all things investing. And let's just say these ETFs did not come out at a good time. The market has been in shambles. Everything is falling, but we are still getting paid every single week. And some of this week's dividends were absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to cover all of that and more in this video. If you're interested in income investing and making money in the stock market, specifically in dividends, you are in the right spot. Don't forget to like the video down below and to subscribe so you don't miss any updates on this account and the other weekly dividend ETF account. Let's jump straight into it after the intro. By now, I should be used to seeing nearly everything in the red on my Moomoo accounts, but it still hurts just a little bit. We can see that we are actually down on the account. Remember, I invested $500 flat. I still have about $80 in cash, and that continues to grow with every dividend paid out by these funds. So I will be buying in more, kind of doing a self-calculated drip. I'm really excited for that. I may even have to start doing it now, as some of these are still so unbelievably beaten down. We're going to start out, we're going to go over each return so far. I'm not going to bother with the charts on these specifically, but we are going to look at the couple week to a month chart on Google Finance so we can see what these underlying stocks are doing that's making these funds give us these returns. So I'm really excited about this challenge. I think it's going to be super cool to see how these end up performing. And you guys know I am a Tesla fanboy through and through. So seeing that this is down 24% definitely hurts pretty bad. At the end of the video, of course, we're going to do a full breakdown because this is not factoring in the dividends paid out, which is a really big deal. We have our dividend tracking spreadsheet that's going to have all the data in there. So we'll pull that up, go over and see what actually is the worst loser, the best performer, and everything in between, as well as what's paying out the most in dividends so far. We have two dividends under each of these in the books, which I'm happy about. Some are really high, some are not as high as they should be, and all in all, they're still a little bit confusing to me, these funds, because the whole way that it works is different than these 0 DTE option calls that I'm used to, and so I'm still learning quite a bit with these, but some of them continue to surprise me, and some continue to disappoint me, and I'll let you try and guess which is which. But let's jump into the price chart for Apple first and see why this fund is still dropping. With Apple, this is one that I don't think is going to skyrocket anytime soon. I don't think it's going to go down long term. I think it's going to go up long term, but I think it's a slower growth play. I think it's a relatively safe play. I think it is probably for an older fashioned investor or for someone that is maybe really hyper aggressive that wants a safer play that's still going to likely do well. We can see it is down 0.5% today. On the 5 day, it's up 1.31%. And on the 1 month, we're still down about 13%. So that's why it is so beaten up in the account, because again, everything that we do, it's multiplied by 1.2. That's what the leverage is. It's a very low leverage amount, but it's a smart way to invest, in my opinion. I understand that some people don't like leverage. To be honest, I'm one of those people. I'm not a big leverage guy, but when you have a fund that you really like, that you can leverage and you're not going to necessarily lose, the house on it, I mean, there you go. It's an easier way of doing it. It's simplified and it's less risky. So I am excited about these. I probably will buy every single one in my Roth IRA. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I like the idea of these. I like the idea of dripping these. And because they are all funds that I like, I mean, PLTR, I like it. It's just so expensive right now. I think long-term, it will do well. And so I'm going to probably put my money where my mouth is with these and put some money in them. And I'll update you guys on that when I end up doing that, when I end up actually buying them. Of course, I will be doing it on Teslas anyway, because you guys, I already said it. But Apple. Pretty bummer couple weeks here. I think it will bounce back. People are talking about a bounce back already, that we're already out of the bear market. I don't know about that. I'm not a market expert. Even market experts are wrong about 50% of the time. So you might be a market expert if you can just say 50-50. But all in all, Apple pretty solid. We'll look at the dividends on the spreadsheet, but it's decent. It doesn't pay the most, as you'd expect. It's a little bit calmer, and that's kind of why. We can also see the market cap of 3.22 trillion US dollars, which is absolutely insane. And that's why I don't think this thing's going to double, because it's probably not going to 6 trillion anytime soon, maybe over the next 5 to 10 years as everything continues to grow. But I like it. I do like it. Let's jump into our next fund. Coinbase for me is a really interesting one. We can see on the day it's up 0.33%. On the 5 day, it's up 5.18%. And on the month, we're still down 25.8%. I've talked about my trading history with Coinbase in the past. I bought it on the open and it tanked, and I held it for so long, and it slowly came back up, and then I sold it for literally zero profit. I maybe made like a couple dollars on it, and then I sold it, and so now it's tanked again. So it actually isn't one that I think is bad for the long run. If you guys aren't crypto fanatics, if you're similar to me, you know a little bit about it. Coinbase is the only traded brokerage that specifies in crypto, and that's why I think it does have some longevity to it. I don't think crypto is going anywhere. Some people do. I will always be a stock market fanboy, more so than a crypto fanboy, but I know that there's a lot of the younger generation that are the crypto market is their stock market, and that's probably not going to change anytime soon. So we are really beaten down. I haven't thought about buying this one, but I mean, if we did see some bounce back, it could be a really solid option just dividend wise. If we start getting to this low again where it's in the 150s, I will buy some. I'll say that right now. I will buy some because we're heading into what they call the crypto winter. So crypto has a lot of ups and downs. It has multi-year long cycles. And if you've never invested, you probably haven't heard of that. They have these, what is it, the burnings or coin burnings or halvings, where it halves the amount of Bitcoin and whatnot, making the current ones, the ones that remain, more valuable. And so there is a way to invest. There's a time to invest. And I'm curious how we'll see with everything with this administration. It seems to be more involved in crypto, whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm kind of indifferent on it. So who knows? But Coinbase is one. It's a stock that I would trade, and thus I probably would be okay getting some dividends out of it as well. Maybe do a 50-50 of coin and COIW to get those weekly payments as well as just the overall growth. But I need it to settle down and find some common ground, and then maybe I'll consider it. And we need crypto to start doing better as well. Definitely. So we'll jump into the next fund. This one I'm particularly interested in. I didn't know that NVIDIA had fallen to a lower market cap than Apple. Very, very interesting. We can see NVIDIA up almost a full percent on the day. On the 5-day, barely up. And on the 1 month, we're down 15.40%. The 6 month really hurts on this one because it was, 150, and now we're already back down. We're down 20%, and you can start zooming out and see all the gains that you missed, which I hate doing, so we're going to go back to the 1 month. NVIDIA, you guys know my thoughts on it. Long term, I think it's fine for growth. It's probably one that I would buy. If I was more specific in just growth investing, these would be the stocks that I'm scooping up on all these dips. You know, we did see it find a bounce point. It went all the way down to 107, and then since then has already run up a little bit, almost 9-10%. So not bad. And I think it is green somehow in the account. I don't know how, because it is down 15.4% on the month. We must have bought at a better time, so it is still green by about 1.5%. You can't complain. I like NVIDIA. I think it's absolutely revolutionary what they're doing with AI. Whether or not you like AI, you have to admit there's money in it. There is money in it, and we're going to start seeing some of these returns flowing through NVIDIA. They're going to continue to fight the government, trying to keep them from becoming a monopoly on a lot of things. And so there may be some swings where you can buy some shares, but I like it. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it. I do. Maybe I'm a little biased because I missed out on the run. Now I'm eager to get some of that money, but who knows? I do think the weekly income is just so amazing for a lot of reasons. And if you can build a nice enough portfolio where you have a lot of long-term stocks that you really like, you're kind of set. And that's why I really do. I'll be honest. I like the weekly pay ETFs more than the weekly payers. And I know that's crazy to say, but you don't have to worry about you still not NAV erosion. They can still go down. But if you have a stock that you love and you think it's going to do well long term, like Apple, you're set. You're getting paid. You're getting paid weekly to hold that stock and get some dividends out of it. And you still get a little bit of price appreciation as well, which I think is insane. Absolutely insane. Let's jump into the craziest performer, has had the most up and down history since we started the account. Of course, I'm talking about PLTR. For those of you that don't know, I bought, what did I buy? I bought 10 crazy growth stocks for 2025 on my smaller channel, which I will link down below at the end of this one as well. And let's just say PLTR at one point was up 80% in the span of like 3 or 4 weeks. It was going absolutely nuts. And then it fell like mad. We are up 1.5% on the day, 5.3% on the 5-day, but on the month down 17, almost 18%. It's not pretty, but look at this 6-month chart. I mean, this thing was absolutely insane. It ran from $30, $40 all the way to $124 before selling off. I don't think we're going to bounce back to $124 anytime soon, but it is one that I'm really interested in. It's smaller for sure, $200 million market cap, which is small, but not small. It's only small compared to some of these other giants that we're talking about. But this is another one that it depends on the weekly pay versus just buying PLTR. If you think it's just going to rocket, just buy PLTR. If you want consistent income and you think it's going to trade relatively sideways or at least in an upward trajectory over the next 5-10 years, you can do either. This is one where I'd probably do 50-50. I would probably put half in PLTR just for growth and half into PLTW to get some weekly payments. And one thing I've heard people talking about is fueling, like if I were to buy PLTW, keep buying more and more PLTR with the dividends from PLTW. Could work. Could be really, really interesting. The one thing I'm confused about with these ETFs, and maybe you guys can explain it to me. A lot of you guys know a lot more than me on some of these subjects, which I really appreciate, because YouTube is a free education. Like, you can learn so much, and I always do fact check the comments, but I always appreciate it. So if we have a bad week with PLTR, it's still paying out a dividend. So is there a chance for NAV erosion with these? What are they paying out if we've had a negative week? Because technically they should be taking more of your money at a leveraged rate, right? So how are we still getting paid when they're dropping? I wasn't sure how it was going to work from the beginning. Maybe they have it on the website. I'll have to look into it, but let me know. Let me know if you know that in the comments, and if you do, I appreciate it. If there's a solid answer, I'll pin it to the top. So if you guys are looking through to try to find the answer like I am, it'll be pinned up there at the top. So shout out to whoever does that. Thank you guys so much. PLTR, definitely higher risk. It's still really, really expensive. Like, I'm not even joking. This thing was trading, $20 to $40, and it ran to $124, and now we're still at almost $90. So even though it has had a pretty steep sell-off of, 30%, it's still very expensive. PE ratio of 463, my bad. Which, some people care more about PE ratio than others. For some stocks, I care about it more than others. I don't really care about it for Tesla, and PLTR kind of falls in the same category, but we will see. We'll see how it does. It's one that I am long on eventually, but I don't have a position yet, and if we do have any sort of pullback in the market that's steeper than what we've seen, I imagine it will continue to fall pretty roughly. So our fifth and final stock to talk about, you guys know, it's the love of my life, besides my fiance, Tesla. Tesla has tanked as well. I mean, we can see it's below the 1 trillion mark. It has fallen 25%. A lot of people are talking about politically what's going on. Elon is very involved with this administration, with the Department of Government Efficiency. And some people hate that. Some people love it. Some people are indifferent. I don't get political on the channel. To be honest, I'm not a fan of politics. I don't like a lot of people working in our government taking money from citizens via taxes, via other things. I just can't stand it. I hate insider trading. Really hate it. Maybe I should do a full video on how much I hate insider trading in our government, not even in our businesses. Like, the government's a whole different level, but don't get me started down that rabbit hole unless you want to spend an hour talking about it. So it's down 4.4% on the 5-day, and on the month down 33.34%. I bought a couple shares at about 215. And if it goes back down again, I will buy more. Did it get all the way to... Yeah, I went below... No, it wasn't 215. 225 then? It was a 5. It must have been 225. I am red on them. No, I'm red on one of them. I keep buying at different times. I can't remember. I sound like I'm rich. I'm buying like one share at a time. So don't get all, oh, he has a bunch of money to spend. I don't. I'm extremely poor. I'm saving for a wedding, guys. Not even saving. I already spent. Did you guys know when you do a wedding, you have to pay for everything like at the beginning too? This is dumb of me, you know? I never really thought about it. But I always thought, like, oh, you'd pay close to the wedding date. You don't. You pay for everything in 5 different payments at these different dates. And if you don't have the money in your account, you'll be on the streets with no house. I don't know. But anyways, Tesla. You can see as I'm just, my mind is going. Wedding planning has gotten to me. Tesla, like I said, I'm not going to beat a dead horse with it. I love the stock. Long term, I think it's phenomenal. I think they're at the top of their class. I'll tell you, I made a lot of money on Tesla. I lost a lot of money on ChargePoint, which is kind of a competitor to Tesla that I thought would do well because it actually had a bigger charging network than Tesla. And that stock is look at it. I'm not going to pull it up because I don't want to cry on film, but it literally tanked. And I lost, like, I'm not even joking. It's the only position I have right now that's down, like, above 90%. That's how bad it is. The management on that thing drove it into the ground. And Tesla was being out. They were not competing well with it, with their charging, with their abilities. And then they released fast charging. And then they got their charging network to be more consistent. They have it all over the place now. Now you can see these Tesla chargers everywhere. And ChargePoint has fallen so poorly. And I hope they get bought out and my position bounces. It's my only hope. So, ChargePoint, not a fan. But Tesla, that's the thing, is Tesla, and you can argue with Elon at the forefront, it does well. And he's not as focused on Tesla right now, which, again, as an investor, I'm not pumped about. But will it continue to do what it has done? I think it will. I think in the long run, he won't let it die by any means. It's still far far above all other electric vehicles. And I'm not even joking, guys. I don't have a Tesla. I'm not sponsored. Elon, if you're watching this, if you want to sponsor the channel, it'd be great. But really, like their vehicles are far above. They're cheaper. They don't have maybe the make quality of some of these other ones, but think of the price difference between a $30,000 Tesla and a $90,000 Rivian, which is the Amazon-backed EV, which those Rivian trucks are beautiful, and they seem to be solid, but they've had tons of issues. The Ford, the F1 Lightning's had tons of issues. All of these other EVs, they're struggling, and Tesla has just been doing it longer, and they capitalize on their own mistakes. So really, really interesting. I'm a huge fan of Tesla. Like I said, I already own a bunch of shares, and I probably will be buying some shares of TSW relatively soon here, especially if we stay at these levels, because I love the weekly income, and I'm a fanboy. So what we're going to do now, we're going to jump into our tracking spreadsheet and see exactly what's been going on. Tesla's been beaten down in the news. A lot of stocks, of bigger stocks, have been beaten down in the news. And there's also been just so much going on. I'm not a news channel by any means, but holy smokes. I'll have my Twitter linked somewhere on the channel now. I do talk on there a little bit. If you guys want to speak with me on different stuff, I'm always on there, or a Discord. I have a free Discord. It should be on the channel page and in the links page. We talk about stocks, investing, dividends, news, stuff that's going on. I'd love to get more people in there that are interested. It's free. I don't charge for it. I'm not going to charge for it because, like, let's just talk, you know? I like talking to like-minded investors, people that are interested in it, because it's hard. I'm a nerd. I'm an introvert. It's hard to make friends. So there it is. I said it. So we're going to jump into the tracking spreadsheet, see the total return, see what has made us money, what has lost us money, and I don't think you're going to be surprised. I don't think you're going to be surprised by that. A quick recap of the dividends that have been paid out. Doesn't this look so cute compared to the other weekly account that has like all the way over? Like, it's just so nice. Couple dividends. I'm really curious, if they were to make more of these, what stocks would you want them on? Because are there stocks that you guys are long on? These are some of the most popular, I would say, for sure. Maybe they could do like the Magnificent Seven or something and add some of those. But I think if they keep doing this, I think it will be popular. I just think it will. Anyways, Apple, we saw it paid 40 cents the first time and 46 cents this last week. COIW with a crazy $1.13 this week. Of course, it did jump the last couple of days. And, it paid 69 cents the first week, so a pretty big jump from there. We have NVW, paid 53 cents the first week and 40 cents this week, but it is green. It is one of the two green in the account. We do have another one that's green. Then we have PLTW that paid out 53 cents last week and $1.36 this week, which is, again, a solid jump, the highest dividend we've seen paid by any of these. And we have TSW that paid 43 cents and now 48 cents this last week. Not a ton of dividends. You know, it's definitely, with $100, you're not getting a ton of money compared to some of the other weekly payers. But like PLTW, it's not going to be consistent. So if you're expecting these to be consistent, they won't be. Sometimes the more old-fashioned dividend investors, like myself, like the consistent slow growth, where it's like, oh, it paid 36.5 cents last week. Now it's 36.75 cents. That's not how these roll. So if you're trying to live off of this, you might have some weeks where you're eating, you know, the Taco Bell dollar menu. They don't even have that anymore. Isn't that insane? It's called the value menu, and it's $1 to $3. Crazy. Or you might be eating at Olive Garden. Is Olive Garden the nicest restaurant I can think of? It is. Isn't that sad? I'm telling you, I'm not rich. So that's how it goes. You're not going to get consistent dividends to live off of, but some weeks you might have a really good week. Some weeks you might have a poor week. And there should be actually a total amount tracker that we can see at the end here. So yeah, our first week we paid $2.58, and this last week $3.83. Again, if you're interested in this tracker, it's available for the tier 3 members on the channel. It's a $25 fee to enter, and you get this forever. You don't have to, you can cancel the membership anytime. You don't have to like keep paying me to keep the spreadsheet. That's absolutely insane. So we're going to jump into our actual positions tab, and I'll show you the 2 winners and the 3 losers in the account. The moment of truth, the total return. We can see we have 2 shares of all of them except PLTW that we have 3 shares, and we have our average cost, and a little bit underwhelming, I will say. We have AAPW down 12.41%, which did surprise me quite a bit. We have COIW that's down 15.57%, and then we have our biggest performer. We have NVW up 4.25%, followed by PLTW barely positive by 0.31%. Finishing it off in dead last, TSW down 21.92%. It's only 3% higher than if you weren't reinvesting those, or if you weren't collecting the dividends. So we have our market value, and we have, of course, our total dividends received. So far, the highest paying out one is PLTW, followed by COIW, despite it being deeply in the red. And then we actually have third place NVW, fourth place TSW, Tesla, and lastly, we have our total dividends from AAPW being 86 cents. Not terrible. I think these do have some room to grow, and I'm really curious to see how they trade in the long term, because it's going to be really, really cool seeing like months and months and months of all these payments, seeing what pays out the most, what's been the most consistent, and all of that tracked back to just how the underlying stock has been performing. So I'm really excited about this account. I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Again, if you do like it, don't forget to like. Helps me know to keep doing content like this. I'm constantly thinking of different challenges to do, a bunch of different ways for me to throw my money into a random investment that people seem to like watching. So if you ever have any ideas, let me know in the comments as well. I appreciate all the feedback, and it really does help me with coming up with ideas. I'm just happy you guys were here. I really am. It helps me out so much hearing feedback, getting opinions, getting educated. Of course, the entire point of this channel is education and entertainment for both you and I. I'm here for the same reasons you are. We're all learning, we're all growing, we're all hopefully making money or losing money these last couple weeks together. And I really, really appreciate it. So if you found this video enjoyable, you're going to like these ones that are popping up on your screen right now, specifically the last weekly dividend account update, which was absolutely insane. We actually had a green week for the first time in a long, long time. So be sure to check those out if you are interested. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe.